A very warm welcome. This is Gttv News Bulletin at 9 p.m. With me, Aisat Koli. Our top stories this evening. After 1 year since the tragic shooting of two Gambian police officers to death on duty, the Gambia Police Force held a remembrance parade for the slain officers. The former mayor of Kanifing Municipal Council, who passed away last week in Turkey, was laid to rest on Monday at the Talinding Cemetery. A 71-year-old man has admitted to raping and allowing other men to rape his wife after drugging her. Those are the top stories. Stay tuned for more news after this short commercial break. Welcome back. In case you are just tuning in, this is Gttv News Bulletin, and I am your presenter, Aisat Kuli. We begin at the State House, where the Gambia was assured of more development support from the World Bank Group. This was made as its officials met President Barrow to discuss developments with him. More on this report. This joint visit in the Gambia by the World Bank Group aims to reaffirm their commitment to supporting the country's sustainable growth. Their meeting with President Barrow seeks to gain a deeper understanding of the government's development plans and priorities, engage with the private sector and development partners to gather insights on the country's progress and foster collaboration. Additionally, the visit provides an opportunity to introduce the new World Bank Group resident representative to the Gambia and elaborate on the joint representation initiative and further strengthening the partnership between the World Bank Group and the Gambia. Speaking to the media after a closed-door meeting with the Gambian leader, the Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs, Sidi Keita, gave a detailed account of their meeting with President Barrow.
Level of engagement between the Gambia and the World Bank is taking new heights. No longer are we dealing just with the World Bank Group, but the entire entities of the World Bank Group are marshaled to support us in our development journey. The IFC is very much in country, and first time Gambia is one of the 21 countries that the World Bank is piloting a one-country system, where you'll have one office addressing all aspects of the World Bank engagement with that partner country on their readiness to support the Gambia in its development journey. And as we stand today, the portfolio of the World Bank Group in the country is 795 million, which is 520 million national projects and 275 million regional projects. And these are in diverse sectors of the economy, from education, health, infrastructure, climate change, transportation. All aspects of the economy are really supported by the World Bank Group. So,
Vice President for Western and Central Africa, Usmani, said the last 4 years, the World Bank doubled their portfolio with the Gambia in key development areas such as energy, education, health, and other interested areas.
The Gambia is a very important partner to the bank. And since for the last 4 years, we have more than doubled actually our portfolio in the Gambia. And the Minister of Finance has given you the number. And this portfolio comprises essentially programs that are people focused. Energy, human capital development, including education and health, agriculture, food security, connectivity, and so on and so forth.
Jaque Pilot, International Finance Corporation, IFC, Vice President for Africa, highlighted key strategic areas by the World Bank Group in creating job opportunities and foster entrepreneurship within the youth of the country, especially those from the underprivileged communities.
We do need to create jobs, particularly to the youth. This is a country with a very strong young population, and also for the women. Women need to fully participate in the economic activities, and so for that we do need to have the proper tools to help them participate in the economy, right? So in order to create jobs, jobs will come from the private sector. right? So this is why we are beefing up the operations, not just on the IFC side, and having a presence here will help us that. We have a very good pipeline of projects here. And when we design a project, we always look at the job angle of it, okay? Not just the job, but also how these jobs are targeting women, are targeting youth. So this is something that we really embed in our projects. We also work very closely with the World Bank to make sure that the business environment is conducive to the creation of jobs, right? So that the business environment has the features that are needed so that companies can invest, can develop their activities.
Reporting for Gttv News, Aissatou Koli. The former mayor of Kanifing Municipal Council was laid to rest at the Tarini Cemetery on Monday. He passed away in Turkey where he was receiving treatment for an undisclosed illness. Scores of people, including government officials, turned up to pay their tribute to the former councilman. Funejaro reports.
Tributes has been pouring in for the former mayor of Kanifing Municipal Council, Jaque Pilot, who passed away last week in Turkey. A huge crowd of mourners, including senior government officials, showed up to the deceased's funeral to pay their tribute at his Tallinn residence. His demise has been described by many of the mourners as a great loss for the country, as they eulogize him of being a generous, kind-hearted and jealous-free man who shared anything he had with others. One of the mourners, Bakari Kamara, a childhood friend of the late Mayor Koli, paid a somber tribute to his generous friend as a good man who had no hard feelings for anyone. Also paying his condolences, Mayor Ahmed Talib Bensouda paid an emotional tribute to the late Mayor Koli as a man who was not jealous and was always willing to offer his intellectual advice to him and others in the service of the council. The late Mayor Jaque Pilot served as the Lord Mayor of the Kanifing Municipal Council from 2008 to 2018 under the Jammeh government. He stepped down after the expiration of his term in office after serving 2 terms in office. After paying his tributes, his remains were escorted to the cemetery in a coffin draped in Gambia flag by the Gambia Police Force. This sombre ceremony left dozens in tears and devastated hearts. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Funejalo.
Well, may he so rest in perfect peace. As you may know, last Friday marked 1 year since the killing of 2 Gambian police officers on duty, leaving their female colleagues seriously injured around Sukuta Jabang traffic lights. The tragic incident has since left so many questions unanswered about the state of insecurity and threats facing the lives of security men and women. In keeping them in memory, the Gambia Police Force, led by the Inspector General of Police, remembered their fallen heroes. Ami Jallow was at the remembrance event and now tells us more.
The Gambia Police Force celebrated PC Pate M. Jallow and PC Sanjay Gomez, brave officers who died defending their nation. Dozens of police officers, led by Inspector General of Police Sidi Mutar Toure and family members of the victims, showed up to pay their tribute. A surveyor of the shooting, Sergeant Nancy Jawo, also paid her respect to her fallen comrades as she received an honor. IGP Toure, who spoke on behalf of the police force, eulogized the officers as heroes who died in the line of duty for their country.
We are gathered here to remember our gallant heroes, Pate and Sang, who paid the ultimate price in the service of our country. We at Gambia Police Force will continue to remember them in our prayers for as long as we live. We pray that the Almighty Allah, God, forgive their shortcomings and grant their gentle souls eternal rest in the highest Jannah and thus paradise.
For his part, Mamadou Shaw, Commissioner of Anti-Crime Unit, described the deaths of the 2 officers as a great loss for the police force and the country as a whole. He, however, added they will always remain to be celebrated by the force.
Their legacy is carried forward by each of us, and it is our responsibility to honor their memories by holding these values in everything we do.
Reporting for Gttv News, I am Amijal.
As world leaders are gearing up to the converge at the United Nations to adopt the Pact for the Future, the umbrella body of civil society organizations and non-governmental organizations, convene a pre-summit under the banner of Partnership for Sustainable Development Goals. More on this report. This pre-summit of the Future Dialogue for Civil Society Organizations by the Association of Non-Governmental Organizations, TANGO, under the theme Partnership for Sustainable Development Goals. The Summit of the Future is a high-level event bringing world leaders together to forge a new international consensus on how to deliver a better present and safeguard the future. The pre-summit by Tango aims to convey a diverse group of stakeholders, including CSOs, community leaders, women, and policymakers, to engage in meaningful discussions and strategize on pressing issues related to sustainable development and the advancement of sustainable development goals. In her opening statement, the Executive Director of Tango, Mrs. Ndaisireng Bakuri, underscores the importance of the dialogue.
Cooperation and dialogue for civil society regarding the National Development Plan and Sustainable Development Goals. We are also, like I mentioned, preparing for the Summit of the Future by gathering insight from our community and update stakeholders on the summit progress. The summit will start on the 20th, when you will have what we call the action days. And then the summit proper will be 22nd and 23rd of September, respectively.
The Development Advisor, Office of the Vice President, and Binta Bali, National Economics, UNDP, both highlighted the participation of Gambia, especially the civil society, during the summit and how it is in line with the National Development Plan, URUA.
Peace. If there is no peace, there cannot be a development. Therefore, the world must resolve ongoing armed conflicts through dialogue, diplomacy, and also prevent future conflicts.
The Summit of the Future also serves as the framework for addressing current socio-economic development and challenges, and its effective implementation is essential for achieving the country's medium-term development goals. The YIRWA, which is the Recovery Focused National Development Plan 2023 to 2027, will play a significant role in fulfilling our global and regional commitments, including the Sustainable Development Goals and the Africa Union Agenda 2063.
And Yadikonjai Eribu, the chairperson of Tango, underscores the role of the civil society, adding that their participation in the summit will help ensure that concerns of the most affected in economic inequality, climate change, and social exclusion are brought to the forefront of the international discussion.
By participating in the summit, we help ensure that the concerns of the most affected, whether they are dealing with economic inequalities, climate change, or social exclusion, are brought to the forefront of the international discussions. This inclusion is crucial for crafting policies that are not only globally relevant, but also locally effective. Furthermore, we play an essential role in advocating for transparency, accountability, and inclusiveness.
This September, world leaders will convene at the United Nations to adopt the Pact for the Future, which will include a global digital compact and a declaration on future generations as an access. Reporting for Gttv News, Aissatou Koli. The families of police officers who were shot dead last year have also joined the Gambia Police Force to commemorate their slave sons. The relatives of the dead officers commended the police force for remembering their fallen comrades and hope justice will be served. Fatima Zahra Sise has the rest of that story.
Heartbroken and devastated were these relatives of the slain police officers. But with this commemoration being conducted by the Gambia Police Force, has relieved them of a bit. They are now hopeful that justice will be served for their slain family members. PC Party M. Jallo and PC Sanjay Games were brutally shot dead by an assailant while on duty in September of 2023 around the Sukuta Jaban traffic light. They were both in their 20s after freshly graduating at the police training school. After the shooting, police in support of other sister forces held a quick, intensive manhunt for the shooter, leading to the arrest of a suspect in Senegal's southern region of Casamance, who is facing trial over the killings. John Gomez, who is a father to the late Sanjay Gomez, thanked the government for their efforts in ensuring justice is served for their two officers. Our Sow, a stepmother to Party M. Jallo, also echoed similar remarks. However, she urged IGP of police and President Barrow to ensure justice is served to the fallen police officers. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Fatmata Sise.
May their soul continue to rest in perfect peace. From that, we now take a second break. When we come back, we look at news beyond our borders. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, the Malian military government has reported that it thwarted a terrorist attack in the capital, adding the situation is under control. The army said on Tuesday that it was conducting a security sweep after fighting of gunmen who attacked a military police center in Bamako. Mali's military government has been fighting rebel groups since overseeing a coup in 2021. Almodo Laminjo reports.
The military facility located in Filadai district on the southeastern outskirts of the capital near the main airport came under attack early Tuesday morning. Witnesses reported gunshots and explosions. The army said a group of terrorists attempted to infiltrate the Filadai Gendarmerie School, but added that mopping up operations are currently underway throughout the area. The military called on residents to avoid the area and await further official reports. Bamako's Modibo Keita International Airport was temporarily shut down due to the unrest, an airport official told the AFP news agency. A nearby high school announced it would remain closed due to external events. Staff at the United Nations mission in Mali received a message ordering them to limit their movements until further notice. Mali, which has been ruled by a military government since back-to-back coups in 2020 and 2021, is plagued by numerous armed rebel groups, including separatists and fighters linked to Al-Qaeda and IS. However, these groups have so far remained outside of the capital. Under the leadership of Colonel Assimi Goïta, Mali has broken a long-standing alliance with European partners and former colonial power France, turning instead to Russia and its Wagner mercenary group for support. An offensive against rebels in the north since 2022 has given rise to numerous allegations that the army and its Russian allies have committed abuses against civilians, charges they deny. After the last coup in Mali, militaries have also seized power in neighboring Burkina Faso and Niger. At least 10 coup attempts have been recorded in Central and West Africa since the August 2020 military takeover in Mali. Mali's army, which has been fighting with separatist groups in the north of the country, confirms the attack. Reporting for Gambian Talents TV News, I am Mudlamin Job.
Dominic Pellicott, a 71-year-old accused of drugging his wife to sleep and recruiting dozens of men to abuse her for over 10 years, has admitted to all the charges against him in his first testimony since the trial opened on 2nd September. Referring to the 50 co-defendants who are accused of raping his ex-wife, he said, "I am a rapist like others in this room." Funejalo has the rest of that details.
Giselle, who was given the chance to respond shortly after, said, "It is difficult for me to listen to this. For 50 years, I have lived with a man who I would have never imagined could be capable of this. I trusted him completely. Although no cameras are allowed in court, the trial is open to the public at the request of Jaque Pilot, who waived her right to anonymity at the beginning of the proceedings. Her legal team said opening up the trial would shift the shame back on the accused. Mr. Pilot, who is a father and grandfather, began his testimony by telling the court of traumatic childhood experiences and said he was accused by a male nurse when he was 9 years old. When asked about his marriage to Giselle, Mr. Pilot said he considered suicide when he found out she was having an affair. Throughout his testimony on Tuesday morning, Mr. Pilot repeatedly assured the court that he never hated his wife and was in fact crazy about her. Mr. Pilot was then questioned by Stephanie Babuni, one of Giselle's lawyers, who asked him why he had been unable to find the will to stop abusing her. Even when she started presenting medical problems in previous sessions of the trial, Giselle said she was worried she was developing Alzheimer's or brain tumor because of hair and weight loss and large memory gaps. These were in fact side effects of the drugs her husband was giving her. Mr. Pilot is also accused of drugging and abusing his daughter, Caroline, after semi-naked photos of her were found on his laptop. He has previously denied this, and on Tuesday, he also stated that he had never touched his grandchildren. In one session of Tuesday's hearing, Mr. Pilot was also asked about the thousands of videos he filmed of men abusing his unconscious wife. These were found by investigators and were instrumental in tracking down the 50 men who are now accused of rape. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Fune Jallow.
That news from Fune Jallow draws the curtains in this program. But before we take a leave of you, here are the main stories once again. After 1 year since the tragic shooting of 2 Gambian police officers to death on duty, the Gambia Police Force held a remembrance parade for the slain officers. The former mayor of Kanifing Municipal Council, who passed away last week in Turkey, was laid to rest on Monday at the Talinding Cemetery. A 71-year-old man has admitted to raping and allowing other men to rape his wife after drugging her. Well, that's it from us in our studios here in Kanifing. It has been a pleasure, and I have been your presenter, Aissatou Koli. Do have a wonderful evening. Stay safe.